torture, murder, genocide, mechanics of death, all through the sky.
Oh. Ladies and gentlemen, feds and degenerates, cuckolds of all ages, I think it's time for Mild's Culture Plate. I am your host, Mild Kevin Miles, and today is Wednesday, April 8th, 2026, and you are locked in for the next hour of pointless news and entertainment. Thank you all for stopping by. Thank you all for coming. Please come on into the chat. Click that thumbs up button. Say hello in the chat. Get your toast and your sound effects. Because, this is the show that will make you question your sanity, humanity, and, whether or not our society is crumbling. I keep saying that I'm trying to get away from national political party politics and talking about Donald Trump all the time. And I just wanted to take a moment to kind of point out a few things in the news. There's this whole situation going on right now with Iran and a whole will they or won't they when it comes to nukes and hot war, and you got Israel violating the ceasefire and this situation with the Strait of Hormuz. Meanwhile, in Washington, D.C., they're about to have the Bilderberg meetings 2 months early. So I would advise everyone out there just to kind of go check out the attendees of the Bilderberg group meetings and just question, why now? Why now? It's never a good thing. Never a good thing. Anyway, welcome everybody. Welcome. Let's go into some viral videos. Let's see this guy try to place an order for some coffee at a grocery store Starbucks kiosk here.
Small one with a cup of ice on the side. Is that possible or not?
Not when you're yelling at me.
I'm not yelling at you. I'm being assertive. I talked to you like that! I just fucking did, you asshole! Get out!
I mean, look.
Get your ass, dude!
Look, I disavow throwing a tantrum in a grocery store. Hey, Sanglant, over in the chat on Rumble. Cheers and welcome, good friend. Good seeing you. I disavow throwing a tantrum in a grocery store. But initially, I don't see that he did anything wrong. Let's go back to the beginning.
Small one with a cup of ice on the side. Is that possible or not?
No.
He's right. He wasn't yelling. He was being assertive. I have encountered this talking to women my whole life. When you're very direct and to the point. When you're saying, I want this, this, and this. You may have a, frustrated, confused look on your face that might come off as anger. Not when you're yelling at me. That wasn't yelling. That was doing this. This isn't yelling. And then, of course, then he proceeds to start yelling.
I'm not yelling at you. I'm being assertive.
And yeah, the guy...
I talked to you like that! I just fucking
very
did!
feminine energy.
Get out!
Very, very feminine energy. Very gay tantrum-like.
A small one with a cup of ice on the side.
I mean, not to mention, just going to Starbucks, very feminine energy, Starbucks at the grocery store. But I get his vibe. It's hard. It's hard sometimes to talk to these young baristas in a way where you could get what you're trying to fucking order across. Anyway, I saw this new TikTok trend. I wanted to take a moment to address this new TikTok trend. Anyway, I'm just gonna play the video. This is a super cut of women playing a prank, doing a shit test on their husbands. Cheers and welcome, Shoban, over on YouTube. Oh, you know what? I said I was going to play sound effects. I did not play one for Sanglant. Let me give Sanglant the old foghorn. Good seeing you. Good seeing you. And then, of course, when Shoban comes in, I got to give her the old Mario Kart, wherever the hell it went in my thing here. Where's my Mario Kart? There it is. All right. So let's get into this TikTok trend. The latest of women on TikTok shit testing their husband to see their reaction. Why does this need to be a thing?
I can have Chris come over right now and help you clean out the garage.
Yeah. Your driveway needs. Yeah, he probably wouldn't mind to do that. We got to come up there when we bring Braylee. He might do that.
Oh, they said it was a head gasket? Yeah, he could do that. He probably won't charge you nothing for it.
Well, my husband's got a truck. He ain't got no money. That's all right. He don't care. He'll help you.
Yeah, Saturday. Yeah, I think he's free. So Saturday, what time do you want us round? Yeah, he can fit it on his car.
Come over, we could just see.
Could you imagine if the genders were reversed? Oh no, she'd be happy to come clean your house. Yeah, she loves cleaning toilets. Yeah. She'll come babysit your kids, no problem. Could you imagine if female domestic chores were just delegated to other females in your life? Could you imagine the mental breakdown the internet would have if you made a supercut of men doing that to their wives? Oh my lord. The feminist articles would not stop.
And chill while he do it. He could pick up the washer and the dryer and hook it up. So
No.
he will be okay.
I like it.
Okay, so
I like how the black dude's the only one who gets vocal about it. Like all the other ones are like doing all the miming in the background. He goes, "No," and I want them to hear me say no. Fuck yeah. Be real about it.
yeah, Monday at 5.
I can't do it.
Yeah, he can come over to move the furniture upstairs.
I told you he could do it for you. We off Friday. It ain't gonna be nothing out the way. He can put it on his truck.
All right. So there's that. And look, I've always been the type of partner where my partners do feel safe to ask me, "Hey, do you mind helping out my cousin or my family member with this thing? We go get it knocked out real quick." And usually, those favors come with some reciprocal stuff. They don't mind, helping me out when I need, certain tasks done myself. So, you know, it definitely it's a wash your back, wash my back kind of thing. So I don't mind as much. Depends on the person, depends on what's expected, depends on the cost of the labor. If it requires me to spend a bunch of money or more gas than just, my house to theirs, no. But I don't mind doing a little bit of labor for people I care about. But yeah, definitely, like, stop, ladies, stop filming your husband. Stop filming your husband unless you have a full on TikTok channel, and he's agreed to be a part of it. Like, there are those couples who do the TikTok stuff. That's okay. But non-consensually just like setting up a hidden camera, which, and gauging your husband's reaction. No, not a very good look. Be nicer to your dudes. All right, so let's get into the justice files for the week. Interesting news stories, people going to jail, people being let out of jail. Let's go to Florida. Here's Fox 35 out of Orlando. Florida bus driver charged in train crash posts a bond and walks out of jail. A former Sumter County, Florida school bus driver who allegedly put 29 students in danger when choosing to enter a railroad crossing with an oncoming train was granted a $1,000 bond per student on the bus, totaling nearly $30,000. Where did she get $30,000? Florida is one of those partial bond states, isn't it? Where you can get a bondsman and pay him 10%. Yvonne Hampton, 67, is charged with 29 counts of child neglect, as well as 2 misdemeanor counts of reckless driving and culpable negligence. The district said she quit in lieu of termination after concerns were raised. Hampton was released from jail on Tuesday and quickly escorted to a nearby truck, did not say anything, and did not respond to questions from Fox 35. Hampton was released on bond and seen entering a red pickup truck with a male driver around 5:30 p.m. When asked what Hampton would say to the 29 children on the bus, she got into the truck and didn't respond. Charges come after Sumter County Sheriff's Office and Sumter County School District said she knowingly entered a railroad crossing in Bushnell, resulting in the back of the bus being hit by a CSX train. I think they said they should tie her to the tracks. He said him, but her. It's her right there. Let's jump over to Twitter real quick and watch the video of this incident happening. See the flashing lights? Oh yeah. Boom. There's kids. They barely escaped with their lives. Look, I know some bus drivers and some people who work at the DMV, and I know they like that's important shit to get your fucking license. Like, when you do that kind of shit at the DMV, I think all commercial, because when I got my driver's license, all commercial driver's license, they train you. Like, no, if there's railroad tracks, you stop far back, proceed with caution, and get through the damn train tracks. If you're in a large commercial vehicle, whether it be a bus or any other kind of commercial vehicle, yeah, you need to get the heck out of the way. Sheriff's office said Hampton made the decision to cross the railroad tracks after she saw the railroad warning system activate. Due to not having any prior convictions, prosecutors said they weren't opposed to a reasonable bond. Hampton was issued 2 $500 bonds for the misdemeanors and $29,000 for the child neglect counts. Upon conditions set by the court, Hampton was ordered to not have contact with any occupants of the bus, nor communicate with the family of the children, nor return to school and not drive a bus. There you have that story, man. Wood chipper. You know, sorry. I was just talking about, the requirements for a commercial vehicle. Well, a commercial vehicle with several of other people's children in it, way worse. Way worse. You're trusted with other people's kids. Thing on it says, seems like most trucking companies require stopping with or without the train. Yeah, it's most state laws. If you're driving a commercial vehicle, you have to stop like 100 feet from the tracks. And that's if there's an arm, if there's a signal, nothing. If you see railroad tracks coming up, or if they're marked in any kind of way, you're supposed to come to a full and complete stop, like 50 to 100 feet prior to the crossing markings. So yeah, that's there's no excuse for that. No excuse whatsoever. All right, Ontario, Canada. Let's go to Ontario, Canada, where we have warehouse employee was arrested on suspicion of arson after a massive fire destroyed the building in Ontario, prompting a large response from first responders overnight. The fire started shortly after 12:30 a.m., so just after midnight, Tuesday near Hellman and Merrill Avenues, according to the Ontario Fire Department. In total, 175 firefighters and 20 fire engines were on scene battling the flames, which cast an orange glow. The firefight continued for several hours as the blaze continued to burn through the Kimberly-Clark Distribution Center, which is estimated to be 1.2 million square feet, about the size of 11 city blocks. The flames and smoke were visible for miles. Nearly 12 hours later, crews were still on the scene shooting water at the building from ladder trucks. They were able to contain the flames to the warehouse, protecting nearby businesses. The warehouse was filled with paper products from familiar brands like Kleenex, Huggies, diapers, which fueled the 6-alarm fire. Officials said that the building has a fire suppression system which was operating but was compromised when a portion of the roof collapsed. Several big rigs docked at the facility were also destroyed. About 20 employees were inside the warehouse when the fire broke out. One person was initially missing but later accounted for. That missing person was the suspect, police said. This fire was very quickly identified as suspicious in nature, said Deputy Chief Mike Waddell. There was a subject of interest identified very early on in the incident. That suspect was arrested. The Ontario Police Department later identified the suspect as 29-year-old Chamel Abdul Karim from Highland. Authorities initially believed he was a Kimberly-Clark employee, but later clarified that he's actually an employee of NFI Industries, a third-party distributor. Officials said it is not known at this time if Abdul Karim was actively on duty working when the fire began, but he was present at the warehouse. A motive for the alleged arson has not been determined, though investigators noted that tips from the community, possibly relating to social media posts, help lead them to Abdul Karim. Let's go to the social media videotape. Lighting toilet paper on fire.
Should have paid us enough to fucking live.
Should have paid us enough to fucking live. We may not get paid enough
to fucking live, but these bitches dirt cheap. All you had to do was pay us enough to live. All you had to do was pay us enough to fucking live.
The fire alarm's already going off, and he's just chilling around.
There goes your inventory.
All right, now it's looping. There goes your inventory. All right, back to the news story. He was arrested on multiple felony arson-related charges and is being held without bail. The police department noted that they have not had contact with Abdul Karim in the past, though it's unknown if he has a criminal record outside of Ontario. Fire officials say the blaze appeared suspicious almost immediately, pointing to the fire's rapid spread and the possibility of more than one point of origin. Upon making entry, continuing to try to locate the scene of the fire, quickly realized there was fire throughout the structure. Waddell said. No injuries were reported, but still there is a human toll. The employees who operated the warehouse around the clock are now out of a job. Mark, a warehouse employee, said, "It is going to affect us all the way around, no matter how we look at it." A thick plume of smoke continued to billow over the area several hours later, prompting a warning for children, seniors, and other groups sensitive to poor air quality to stay inside. What a fucking asshole. Like, people do this shit thinking they're hurting a corporation. You realize, like, all the paper products, like, prices are going to have to go up. Like, this could create a shortage in Ontario of paper products and sanitary products. You're risking thousands or hundreds. I forgot how many firefighters they said it was. 175 firefighters. You're risking 175 firefighters' lives, plus all the co-workers' lives. For neighbors like Terry Crews, it's the kind of scene you don't forget. It was more than wow. It was like, oh my God, we need to run. Yes, because it was just a big blaze of fire. By Tuesday afternoon, the firefighting effort was almost over and the fire was under control. So this is 12 hours later, Tuesday afternoon. Almost over. They were battling for over 12 hours. He set the fire, or they got the call at 12:30, just after midnight, and it was Tuesday afternoon before it was under control. Crews were beginning the mop-up phase. Sanglet said, I just reposted a stream with the tag time to burn some stuff. Well, okay. Well, I mean, yeah. Now you got to go back and tell them you should have paid me more. All right, so let's get into some more news here. Let's go over to Fox News. As we have some movement here from the creepy porn lawyer, Stormy Daniels' disgraced ex-lawyer and anti-Trump superstar, Michael Avenatti, has been moved from prison to a halfway house. Been moved from federal prison to a halfway house in California, according to Bureau of Prison Records, but remains in federal custody with a projected release date of September 2028. Avenatti's best known for representing Stormy Daniels in her failed 2018 defamation suit against President Trump. Once a media darling with presidential ambitions, he was later convicted in multiple fraud cases and sentenced to years in federal prison. An official with Bureau of Prisons confirmed to Fox News Digital that Avenatti was transferred from the Metropolitan Detention Center in Los Angeles to a community confinement overseen by the BOP Long Beach Residential Reentry Management Office and has a projected release date of September 8th of 2028. In 2022, Avenatti was convicted and sentenced to 48 months in prison for stealing close to $300,000 in proceeds from Daniels. At the time of his sentencing, Avenatti was already serving a 30-month sentence for threatening to extort $25 million from Nike. Avenatti was also sentenced in December 2022 to 14 years in prison from stealing from 4 of his clients. One of those clients was a paraplegic. So all in all, that's what? 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21 years? 21 years and that was 4 years ago. Sentenced to 21 years 4 years ago. And he's now out of prison.
Thank you very much. That's really nice. Thank you.
What the fuck? What the fuck? A copy of the probation order signed by U.S. District Judge James Selna stated that Avenatti must pay $937,725.58 in restitution to his victims, and he's ordered to participate in a mental health treatment program following his release from federal custody in 2028. Avenatti will be under supervised release for 3 years. So 4 years in prison, 3 years under supervised release. Oh, here we go. Avenatti's early release comes after a federal judge in June reduced his collective prison sentence to 8 years, allowing credit for some of the sentences running concurrently. Avenatti's resentencing came after the U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals for the 9th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals vacated his 14-year sentence in October 2024. He was disbarred in California in February 25. Okay, so they reduced the sentence to 8 years, but still, 4 years in prison, supervised release for another 3, and being given credit for concurrent sentences. Gotta fucking love it. All right, we're not gonna hash out all the battle between him and Trump and Stormy. We're gonna rehash all that part of the news article. If you folks aren't aware of it, go look it up. Cheers, by the way. Apparently my view counters don't work anymore. All right, speaking of people getting out of prison, I don't think this guy's going to necessarily get out, but he's not going to go to prison. Not going to go to prison. This guy here, DeCarlo Brown. Remember the name DeCarlo Brown? Crazed homeless man accusing of slaughtering Irina Zarutska on a train found incompetent to stand trial. The deranged homeless man accused of savagely butchering Irina Zarutska, 23-year-old Ukrainian refugee on a Charlotte light rail train, has been found incapable to proceed on state murder charge. According to a motion filed April 7th, DeCarlo Brown Jr. was evaluated December 29th at Central Regional Hospital, and the subsequent report determined that he was not competent to stand trial, according to WBTV. His attorney has asked the court to delay his competency hearing by 180 days. The results were previously sealed in state court and were only revealed as the motion was filed. Prosecutors did not object to the requested 180-day delay of Brown's Rule 24 hearing, which was previously scheduled for April 30th, which will determine whether he is fit to proceed with a potential death penalty trial. Wood chipper. Brown is also facing federal charges and will remain in custody on that case, his lawyer Daniel Roberts said. The judge must now determine whether to accept the report's findings, and the case against him will likely be delayed until his capacity is determined to be, quote, restored by the court, the station reported. The motion filed by Brown's public defender, he claimed the court-required capacity hearing cannot take place with the accused killer in federal custody, and that the court also can't order to have his capacity restored. If a judge agrees that Brown is incompetent to stand trial, state law mandates that the charges be dismissed. However, if the judge issues the ruling without prejudice, the state murder charges could be refiled if he ever regains his capacity to be tried. A similar situation happened in the Tar Heel State in 2020 when murder charges were dismissed without prejudice against Buford James Penley after he was determined to be incompetent by multiple psychologists, including one who worked for the DA's office. Under North Carolina law, a defendant is deemed capable to proceed to trial if they can understand the nature and object of the proceedings, comprehend his or her situation in a reference to the proceedings, and assist in his or her defense in a rational or reasonable manner. Brown has been in federal custody in Chicago since a grand jury indicted him on October 22nd for violence against a railroad carrier and mass transportation system causing death. He faces state charges of first-degree murder. He's been ordered to undergo a psychiatric evaluation pursuant to his federal case, but court filings viewed by the outlet last month show that it hasn't been completed and that the evaluation period has been extended. The outlet reports that restoring competency can take a long time in North Carolina because of limited space in state psychiatric facilities. So, you got way too many crazies there. And said that it's not uncommon for defendants to wait a year or more for a bed to open up. Brown, 35, whose mother told the Post is schizophrenic and was arrested 14 times in North Carolina for crimes ranging from assault and firearms possession to felony robbery dating back to 2007. Lock up every judge who let him out. At the time of the senseless attack in late August, he was free on cashless bail after a magistrate released him with a written promise to show up for court after placing a bogus 911 call. The horrifying caught on camera slang became national news, blah, 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 blah. They signed Arena's Law in North Carolina. Yeah. Rest in peace, Arena Zarutska. May your family eventually find justice from this monster. You could stab somebody on camera. And apparently, yeah, murder isn't, you just get a doctor to say you're crazy. How qualified are the doctors? Who cares? Meanwhile, other doctors, while we're talking about doctors, dealer who sold ketamine to Matthew Perry is sentenced to 15 years. The sentence for Jasveen Sangha, who prosecutors say was known to customers as the ketamine queen, is the stiffest yet for those charged in the Friendstar death. LA woman who illegally sold the ketamine that killed Perry was sentenced Wednesday to 15 years in prison. Jasveen Sangha pleaded guilty last year to 5 federal charges connected with Perry's overdose, 3 counts of the distribution of ketamine, 1 count of distribution of ketamine resulting in death or seriously bodily injury, and 1 count of maintaining a drug-involved premises. Ms. Sangha, one of 5 who pled guilty in the case, faced up to 65 years in prison according to her plea agreement. But the government sought a sentence of 15 years, and Mrs. Sangha's lawyers asked for her to be granted supervised release after the accounting for her time served. Prosecutors have emphasized in court documents that customers knew Ms. Sangha as ketamine queen. They say she heard of Mr. Perry's interest in ketamine through an acquaintance who was in touch with the actor's personal assistant. Ms. Sangha offered to send a sample to the assistant, who ultimately bought 50 vials on Mr. Perry's behalf. One of those vials contained the ketamine that killed Perry, prosecutors have said. After Ms. Sangha, 42, learned of the actor's death through news reports, she quickly sought to destroy evidence of her involvement, telling an associate to delete all our messages, according to court documents. When authorities raided her apartment in March of 24, they said they found cocaine, 79 vials of ketamine, and 3 pounds of orange pills containing meth. Siobhan had to leave for a few minutes to go get vape. Okay, cool. Let's blow some clouds. Perry struggled with drug and alcohol addiction for decades, became increasingly reliant on ketamine in the weeks before he was found floating face down in a hot tub in October of 2023 at age 54. Former doctors Salvador Plasencia and Mark Chavez were each sentenced in the case in December. Plasencia, who illegally supplied Perry with ketamine in weeks leading up to his death, was sentenced to 30 months in prison, and Chavez, who worked with Plasencia to supply Perry with the drug at a steep price hike, was sentenced to 3 years of supervised release, including 8 months of home detention. Both men surrendered their medical licenses. Kenneth Iwamasa, Perry's assistant, and Eric Fleming, the acquaintance who worked to sell Miss Senga's ketamine, are supposed to be sentenced in coming months. During Wednesday's court proceedings, Mr. Perry's stepfather, Keith Morrison, told Miss Senga, "I feel bad for you. I don't hate you. You're a drug dealer. There are a lot of drug dealers out there. The fact is, you supplied an addict." Miss Senga, who cried during Mr. Morrison's statement, told the court she would do better, adding, "I've given myself no other choice." Her lawyer, Mark Garagos, told reporters that he was bitterly disappointed with the sentence, arguing that it was unfair for Miss Senga to receive a longer sentence than the others involved in the death. Miss Senga, a dual citizen of the U.S. and the U.K. who lived in North Hollywood, has been in federal custody since August of 2024. On an Instagram account, she advertised herself as a curator of art and events and a jet setter who routinely hopped between London and LA. She bolstered that image with photos and videos from pools, dance parties, and fancy dinners around the world, appearing with Charlie Sheen, DJ Khaled, and Perla Hudson, the former wife of guitarist Slash. She sought to project an air of exclusivity, calling her supply of ketamine amazing and telling Mr. Fleming, "Take one and try it. I have more if he likes it." So there you have it. Jasveen Senga, 15 years in prison for simply contributing to Matthew Perry's overdose. So you supply a drug to a beloved celebrity, and he basically takes his own life. You get 15 years. Meanwhile, DeCarlo Brown, on video, stabs Irina Zarutska in her throat, and he gets competency hearings from now till God knows when, and doesn't have to serve time in prison, apparently getting out for a 15th time maybe. All right, so let's get into our title story, or wait, one more story here, and then we'll get into the title story. A New York City nurse has been fired after an anti-Semitic attack on Israeli tourists that was stopped by a Spider-Man. Friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. A New York City mental health nurse has been fired after she filmed herself harassing a group of Israeli men in Times Square, recalling them baby killers and terrorists in a hate-filled anti-Semitic rant, when a performer dressed as Spider-Man intervened. Jennifer Koonings, who worked at the Manhattan-based Inspire Mental Health Services, shared multiple videos on Instagram. Here we go.
Baby killers sitting right there. Oh my god, their numbers keep multiplying. There's like 4 of them now. There's 4 baby killers. Oh my god. There's 4. Baby killers! Baby killers! These guys killed babies in Palestine.
So there's other women there, not just her.
Slaughtered babies. Terrorists. Terrorists. Fuck Israel. Fuck Israel. We don't want you here. Terrorists. Disgusting. You have They're baby killers.
They harass people.
They are baby
kill people.
killers.
You don't know anything about him.
Yes, I do. They're fucking Israelis.
You need to quit harassing him. Okay.
Okay, but shouldn't wait?
Spider-Man.
Doesn't Spider-Man work
Baby
for a
killers!
newspaper though? Spider-Man works for the Daily Bugle. He should care about the First Amendment. Let these women speak. You guys killed babies in Palestine. We just saw all that. We don't need to read all that. We don't need to read all that. Okay, second clip that seemingly preceded the ordeal. Koonings, who has a history of anti-Israel political activism, recorded herself asking the men where they're from.
In New York City, there are 3 baby killers.
Okay, we already saw that. Okay. And then, of course, she bragged on Instagram that she'd been terminated from her role at the mental health provider. Okay, so you have, got it. Please have billing reach out to me, blah, 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 for my hours last week and final check. Thank you and free Palestine heart. Wow. Oh, and yeah, that was in reply to, hey, Jen, this email serves as your immediate termination from Inspire. Please return your key to the doorman within 24 hours. There you have it. Spider-Man stopping the First Amendment on the streets of New York City. Gotta love it. Anyway, we got Cool Frog in the chat. Give it a toast. Cheers to Cool Frog. Good seeing you, friend. Thank you for having me on repeatedly this weekend. Let me go.
Oh, shit. Here we go again.
Yeah, where we go again. I probably won't be able to be on this weekend, by the way, Cool Frog. I'm going to be out of town, so sorry, bud. I love being on your show. Can't make it this week. All right, let's do this. So, we're going to get into the... Wait, hang on. Let me back up just a little bit. I need to do a disclaimer. I try really hard not to judge people's personal lives, personal drama. Who am I kidding? I love to do it, but I only do it to people who fucking deserve it, right? We're flawed human beings, and we tend to sin, right? We're imperfect. We have moments of weakness where we follow our horny or we follow our failures. And I try not to make light of that on this show. I'll poke, I'll smile, I'll laugh, I'll make fun. But all too often, we get these news stories, you know. Recently, we had this situation with Tiger Woods. And some years back, Tiger Woods had an issue with drunk driving, but also with infidelity with his wife. And I try not to really harp on people for having moments of infidelity. It's a very human thing to do. It's a very horrible thing to do. Let me be honest. Very horrible thing to do. And understand, when I talk about infidelity, the problem with infidelity is the lying, the deception. Like, if everyone is knowledgeable and consenting to whatever's going on, if everything's open and honest, that's not cheating. That's not infidelity. So when celebrities or should I say famous people, because the next story isn't exactly well, I guess there is a celebrity involved. We're going to get into the story of New England Patriots head football coach Mike Vrabel. It's like the top story everywhere. It's going viral on social media. But I wanted to point out the reason I bring up the situation with Mike Vrabel is I try to only do it when I think there's sort of a reason to. Was it not even a week ago? Maybe a little over a week and a half ago. Mike Vrabel made some comments about some other comments about some other comments. What had happened was there was a Chicago Bulls star, Jaden Ivey, who went on a rant about the NBA doing Pride Month and said pride is unrighteous. Pride is unrighteous. And there was a huge backlash because he was labeled as anti-LGBT, and everyone clutched their pearls that Jaden Ivey was a homophobe and blah, blah, blah. Meanwhile, New England Patriots running back Travion Henderson had this to say on X. Blessed are those who are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Matthew 5:10. Now think about those words. Blessed are those who are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Those are very important words. I want to get the quote perfectly right here. I want to tell you I love Travion, Vrabel responded. I love the person. He cares deeply about our team. He cares deeply about his faith. He cares deeply about his family, his wife, and the people in our building. And so I want them to be able to express what they believe in their heart and their mind. But, and what's the rule about the word but on the internet, folks? Whenever you see a but, everything before it is bullshit. But I also want to make sure they're educated, and we want to be inclusive. Everything we want to do, we want to provide an environment for people to, one, feel comfortable, but to also share their personal beliefs. And we also represent the team, and we represent the organization. Make sure that they're educated. What's uneducated about saying that those who are persecuted for their righteousness are blessed, and theirs is the kingdom of heaven? What's uneducated about that? So it's very ironic that a week after commenting on the concept of persecution and righteousness, do we have this story? New England Patriots Mike Vrabel, who's married, and the NFL Times NFL reporter Diana Rossini, also married, are holding hands and hug at a luxury hotel. Vrabel and Rossini, a former anchor on ESPN's flagship Sports Center, who now holds the official title of senior NFL insider at the Gray Lady sports publication The Athletic, were spotted 2 weekends ago at Ambiente in Sedona, Arizona, a boutique resort set against the breathtaking Brins Mesa mountain range. You can see these photos here, sharing an embrace over the mountains. Page 6 Spy tells that the pair, both married to other people, had breakfast on the patio of the hotel restaurant around 10:30 on Saturday, March 28th, before spending a leisurely hour or so together at the pool and lounging side by side in a hot tub. The spy spotted Vraybell and Rossini again on the private rooftop of one of the hotel's bungalows, which feature glass walls offering panoramic views of the Red Rock formations. Roofs are only accessible from the two-person bungalows, which cost up to $2,160 a night. Photos show that they were hugging at sunset, weaving their fingers together as they stand face to face. They saw the pair briefly dance together. Vraybell and Rossini relaxed in the boutique hotel's pool. There they are. Rossini and Vraybell insist that they were there with friends, and they say that they simply weren't visible in the pictures. A source close to Rossini says she was staying at the hotel during a hiking trip with two female pals. One of Vraybell's friends told Page Six that they and the coach drove up to Sedona for the day with another pal, and they all drove back to their own hotel some 2 hours away after hanging out with Rossini and her gang. 3 other eyewitnesses told us that they didn't see anyone else with Vraybell and Rossini, and asked if the Patriots coach visited the hotel with a group of friends. One eyewitness has said no, he was with a girl. Vraybell attended a scouting event at Arizona State University in Tempe on Friday, March 27th, before traveling 125 miles to the resort. The adults-only Ambiente prides itself on being a romantic getaway, boasting on its website about the 158 proposals that took place and the thousands of anniversaries and honeymoons that have been celebrated at the hotel. After being seen with Rossini, Vraybell headed to the Biltmore Hotel in Phoenix for a meeting of the NFL Competition Committee, a group of owners and coaches who oversee the game's rulebook. Rossini was among many NFL reporters at the Biltmore on Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday of last week, which the media had access to owners, executives, and coaches. On Thursday, The Athletic posted a dispatch about the meetings written by Rossini and Jacob Robinson. Rossini had been one of the more prominent football reporters in the country for more than a decade and routinely covers the Pats. She joined SportsCenter in 2015 and has appeared on NFL Countdown and NFL Live. Wow. I'm going to kind of cut that there because you don't need to know like their whole history. Okay, here we go. Wait a minute. Maybe I won't. In 2015, Rossini weathered a controversy when the wife of the Washington Commanders general manager, Scott McCloughan, publicly accused them of having an affair. After the reporter broke a story about Kirk Cousins replacing RG3 as the Redskins quarterback, Jessica McLaughlin reportedly wrote on Twitter, "I'm pretty sure this info is coming from my husband to his new side chick, Diana." Jessica deleted the tweet and apologized. So you have history of being a home wrecker. All right. Yeah, I don't need to know the whole rest of the history of her love life and Vraybell's love life. But let's jump over. Apparently, so it's also news. One more new little related news story. It's now becoming a trend on a viral trend on the internet where people are now doing the finger linking, because it's totally what friends do. Friends link their fingers. Jerry O'Connell. Yeah, you totally link fingers. The only reason I bring this particular article up about the finger linking is because it ended here with a statement from Vraybell. These photos show a completely innocent interaction, and any suggestion otherwise is laughable. This doesn't deserve any further response. And then Rossini in a statement, those photos don't represent the group of 6 people who were hanging out during the day. Like most journalists in the NFL, reporters interact with sources away from stadiums and other venues. But they don't share hot tubs. And they don't hold hands. They don't share hot tubs and hold hands at a romantic resort. All right, folks, it's that time again. We're down to the last several minutes of the show. So it's time. It's time to take a peek into relationships. You know what that means? If you haven't watched the show before, we go over to a YouTube channel called Love Don't Judge. And on Love Don't Judge, they like to highlight interesting relationships where people might have gotten a little bit of hate online for who they're in love with. And we here at Miles Culture Plate have a policy of outlasting the haters. But, you know, we like to take a look at some of these relationships and just try to determine, are the haters onto something? Is there something about your relationship that might warrant a little bit of criticism? In a segment we call Love Does Admonish. So let's go on over to YouTube, to the Love Don't Judge channel, as we take a look into Haters Question Why I'm with a quote average white guy. Love Don't Judge.
And this is my man Kevin. And I'm Kamani. And this is my man Kevin. And people judge us because of the way we look.
Never date a Kevin. Quote, never date a Kevin. By the way, I'm Mild Kevin Miles. And that's my quote of the day.
My queen. Every single day we get stared at. Trolls say we're not compatible because of our hair. They judge her because of how thick her hair is, and then me because I'm losing some of my hair.
Because of my hair? Hitler?
They said y'all look like
no! Yeah, the hair. Why do you have a Hitler hairdo? Like, you don't have to shave the sides up that high. Dude. Did you come from Argentina?
Genetic experiment gone wrong.
With my family, I felt like,
Well, I wasn't aware that my sister was into different cultures.
Into different cultures. What is that supposed to mean?
Hi, my name is Kamoni.
And your boy Kel.
K apostrophe money.
Kel how to style my hair.
Wish me luck.
Yeah. People judge us for our hair, but we don't care.
Okay, so since he's got the Hitler hairdo and both of their names start with a K, they need to become a polycule and get a throuple going with someone else whose name starts with K, and then they could be KKK, but both women have to be black. This is the way he looks. He looks like a white supremacist. Yeah.
We grab the loop. Do you want to do it?
Yeah.
Oh no! Oh no! He's helping with the weave.
I feel like I'd be slowing her down, and I help record her and make content for her. We both have dealt with a lot.
Oh, of course, she's
judgment
on
from other
Instagram.
people, so I mean, we know how the other person feels.
What you're doing is pretty much braiding around the lock extension, and then, do you know what you're doing?
Do you know what you're doing? No, he doesn't. He's white.
Let me start it off.
I just love her locks. They're so beautiful. People can't grasp the concept of people fall in love with who they fall in love with. You don't have to be 6 foot tall and the best looking. You just gotta find the person for you. We met at her brother's birthday party, actually. I was the cameraman coming to record his birthday party. We texted for a little while. We were.
Wait, are you seeing the drip this guy's wearing? Let's go back a second.
His birthday party, actually. I was the cameraman.
What is this? What is this? What is this? Martin Lawrence would kick your ass.
Man coming to record his birthday party. We texted for a little while. We were friends for like 2 years.
So it took me a while to kind of grow on him, or for him to grow on me, if that makes sense.
And then the rest is history.
He had to grow on her.
Just make sure you're
twisting the locks as I'm doing it.
Yeah. People call me a lion mane because I have so much hair.
A lion mane?
My hair is important.
If you have so much hair, why are you adding more?
When I was younger, I didn't have a role model to teach me, as you know, twist the locks.
Okay.
We weren't necessarily designed to look at ourselves all day.
So take that one around, take that one around.
Not necessarily.
I doubt it, because that was from the TV show.
Now that
jacket
all
was
these
from
devices,
the TV show.
We kind of judge ourselves.
This guy's not old enough to have been, on the set of the Martin TV show.
So I bring them around like this. Like that?
No, baby, but it's okay.
I'm so confused.
Yes.
Just goofing off, making a video.
What was with that
Really?
mustache?
Up in my
Did you
face.
see that? Hang on, let's go back. What is with this look?
Just goofing off, making a video. Really? All up in my face with it.
Somebody said he got too little hair and she has too much.
He said, y'all are not a typical
Why isn't
relationship.
she showing him
She's
to
a
how to
beautiful
put
woman and you're an
extensions in his hair?
average-looking white guy. It's 2025 and interracial relationships are becoming more and more normalized every day, except for on
Did he just
social
knock
media.
some
Those
beads out of
keyboard
her hair?
warriors are brave. They won't say it in Walmart. If we walk past them, they'll just be like, "Oh, I saw you on social media," and then as soon as they get home, they're gonna be in the comments like, "I just saw you in Walmart. You look so ugly." Blah, blah, blah.
It's funny because we didn't really receive judgment when we started our relationship.
Not really too much until our first like real viral
That's how
video
haters
that hit
work.
like hundreds of thousands of views. Her hair is more fluffy than the tree is, with a bunch of laughing faces.
For weeks, we was getting blown up with notifications.
Okay. A pink Christmas tree. A pink Christmas tree with butterflies and pine cones in your pink Christmas tree. Just don't.
And a lot of stuff is just hate comments, and it's tough when you have to see all of that.
Somebody put a Kip and LaFonda gif from Napoleon Dynamite. At this point, it doesn't really bother me. But at first, it did kind of bother me. They said, y'all look like a genetic experiment gone wrong, which is crazy.
They've compared him to Hitler.
I didn't even know that. That's crazy. Like that?
Mm-hmm.
Bring it back around. Oh, I'm learning.
I got some Scorpio pieces. I do kind of get extra with it.
What the heck? Yeah.
It's kind of like an
costume jewelry
or earrings.
is cheap, but when you have
A lot
that
of people
fucking
told me to
much,
cut my hair off. This took me around 6 hours. Or why y'all so worried about my hair that y'all feel like I should cut my hair?
Like,
women, what the fuck? Women, what the fuck? She literally just said, this took me 6 hours. And then the next quote is, why do y'all care about my hair? Why do you care about your hair enough to do it for 6 hours? Oh, because you want other people to notice. You don't do anything for 6 hours unless you're trying to make an effort for somebody else. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's definitely some things you do for yourself that could take 6 hours, but come on. That hairdo, you don't need that to live your life and go through life. No, you do that because you want the attention. And you get the attention, then you're like, I don't understand why people are giving me attention. Come on.
No, you can't do that.
who cares if you like it? It's her hair. I don't necessarily believe in societal beauty standards. If you're happy with who you are and you're happy with who your partner is, that's all that matters.
So you're so light with it. You gotta.
I ain't trying to scratch
degree,
your
yeah.
face.
Yeah, but you gotta hold. Is it pushing?
Kinda, yeah. How's it look?
Yeah, that works. They feel like he's, I guess, a lot older than me because of his receding hairline.
Is that a Maya Angelou?
People go crazy over that hairline.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. They judge her because of
I
how
can't
thick
tell
her
what
hair
that
is,
tattoo
and
is
then me
on her
because I'm losing some of my hair a little bit.
So now that dear old Kevin has helped me with my hair, I'm gonna help him with his. Get him all spiffied up for
here
the
we go.
day.
Just do it. I'm too OCD with mine, so I let her do it.
Yeah.
I'll sit there for 2 hours combing my hair. I do feel a little, just because of
2 hours?
the thinning spot that I have on top of my head, but
Like I don't
do think
mine
about it a
enough.
little more than I used to, just because of how much it gets brought up in the comments.
He don't really like too many people touching his head. But I'm the same way.
Thank you.
Although I have to say, when my hair was as short as his, I did take a lot longer.
Looking like we in some movie.
I have received a bunch of hate comments regarding like my body. I
Now
do
that it's
feel
long, it just kind of falls into
self-conscious.
place.
I'm learning how to
just need to
just
make sure
manage
it's
it.
not
I feel like it's made us
complete
strong as a
raspberry.
couple because you never know when you're going to be in a spotlight. Then you're able to actually deal with the real world.
Never know when
I'm
you're going to be in
you,
the spotlight.
Today,
You post yourself on the internet.
my sister Asset is coming over to share her opinions about our relationship.
All right.
I was a bit shocked. Well, I wasn't aware that
Got to put
my
some
sister
brownies and
was
chips
into
out.
different cultures.
Who eats brownies with chips?
What's up?
Esther was happy for me.
Hey, Kat.
I do feel that she did have her thoughts along the way. So, Esther,
Of course, everyone's gonna have
how
thoughts.
did you feel when Kevin and I started dating?
Were you shocked at all?
To be honest, I was shocked in the beginning. You're like an icon here. Although we are too, what attracted you two to each other?
So he's so caring,
He was an icon.
supportive. He listens.
I knew I loved her before we were even together.
So how do you deal with the online judgment? We generally ignore them.
Because a lot of the stuff is just, oh, girl, take that hair out. It looks trash. Or, oh, like, why are you with a white boy? Or,
if you're not a loctician, you can't really tell me anything about my hair. You feel me?
They would basically imply that because they didn't like her hair or they felt like her hair didn't look good, that meant I didn't care about her because I let her walk out the house like that. And I like the way her hair looks. I don't give a damn if they do or not.
I don't understand that one bit.
My family, they didn't necessarily normalize interracial dating and stuff like that. Like, they were surprised, but they loved it.
I don't understand what her
so
hair
with
has
my
anything to do with
family,
him.
I feel like
he just
I was
explained it,
unsure
and that
if
just sounds
my
stupider.
immediate family approved because stuff I was hearing, and of course at that point it really didn't matter because we was already locked in. It just made me feel unincluded, unwelcome. At a certain point, you just have to let it go, let go, and let God. So that's what I did.
Well, I appreciate you coming over to see us, Asset.
No problem.
Thank you, love.
Take you another round.
There was no substance to this conversation. This was literally everything they'd already said before in the.
It don't matter where we go, but they don't really say too much. They just be looking like.
And Walmart is the worst.
Just about anybody you
Walmart
see
is that the only place you go? Is Walmart?
You ready to go to the park, baby?
Oh, not
After you, my
going to the
love.
park. Okay, good. Glad we have something other
Kimoni
than people
has
stare at
definitely
Walmart.
changed my life in multiple ways. She's made me a lot more patient of a person. She's taught me how to love a lot more.
He just continues to pour so much love into me that I've learned how to love myself even more.
What I would say to people that judge our relationship, honestly, is just go find you somebody. Go find you some love. But honestly, you got to learn to love yourself first before you can find love.
Woman. You should thrust love into a woman. All right. Not going to hate on them. They seem like they got their shit together. I don't understand the whole focus on her hair. I think she's just so obsessed with. So again, this is one of the reasons we do Miles Culture Plate, is because what you focus on, what you say the haters focus on, often say a lot about what you focus on. So this, clearly, she is so obsessed with her hair that her haters point out her hair. Like, she is so triggered at the conversation of hair. What do you do with that? Well, if you're a hater, yeah, that's what you point out. And obviously, they're not, to some degree, they're outlasting the haters, but they're really not. They're really not outlasting the haters. So you folks out there, once more, I'm going to ask you, click that thumbs up, like, share, subscribe, hit those notification bells. Make sure you are notified and aware for the next episode of Miles Culture Plate next Wednesday and every Wednesday, 6 p.m. Central. At least for the time being. I may move it back up to 5 if I think I can find enough interesting news to talk about in shorter amounts of time. I'm telling you folks, it does become pretty hard for me because I don't like to focus on all of the red versus blue political stuff or the war stuff or some of the crazy things celebrities do as much. And it's a little harder to find all of the important, day in, day out bus drivers running railroad tracks and stuff like that. Those stories are a little harder to find. So it takes me a little bit to get the show ready. And man, it takes a little bit of effort for me to get this going. And that's one of the reasons I took so much time off this winter. But I'm back. The show's back. And you can come back this upcoming Wednesday, 6 p.m. Central, right here, same bat time, same bat channel. Yeah, I think that's all I had for today. So take care of yourselves. Take care of one another. Outlast the haters. Don't get any on you. And if you do, rub that shit in real good. I'll see you next time. Good night, everybody. Adios.